and welcome to a book review. A book review of Living Legend by Ali Shanti, and this took me over a month to slog through. And it's not because it was a bad book, it's not a bad book, and it is 538 pages. But for whatever reason, and I know the reason, which we'll get to, it did take me over a month to finish this thing. So let's get into it. And let's start with the blurb. She's been called from her place in the darkness to aid the side of good in the last place she wants to be. Dani, groomed by Lilith herself, has long been spreading horror in the murk of purgatory. She never asked to be summoned to Heaven's Gate, and never expected to be charged with the stubbornly attractive angel Nicholas as her partner. Though with a face like his to look at, Dani isn't about to complain. The lines between good and evil are shifting. Dani discovers that, lurking in her familiar darkness, are secrets she would never have guessed at, and doesn't understand. Now she must ask herself, who is a demon supposed to trust? He'll have to join forces with the last entity he expected, but sometimes true loyalty lies in the most unexpected places. Nicholas is a sentry angel yet to see actual combat, so it comes as a surprise when he's summoned by the highest angelic executive. The bigger shock is being forced to rally together with an alluring demon he can't get out of his head. But as allegiances are tested, Nicholas discovers a lot is hiding between the boundaries of good and evil. Side by side, Nicholas and Dani must fight the unknown, in whatever form it takes. Now, with a blurb like that, you would assume that there are some trigger warnings because it does say that it is 18+. So let's try and find them and see if they're relevant. Full list of content warnings can be found on the author's website. I'm not going to go have a look at that. Like the blurb said, Dani is a demon groomed by Lilith herself and is highly regarded as Lilith's right-hand pet demon. You know, person. Lilith has even put some of her own power into Dani so that she is a more powerful demon. And Dani likes torturing people. She likes hearing the screams. She likes the power. We can all relate. Now, even given this, Dani is our main female character, and she is an incredibly interesting point of view, because we get a dual point of view in this. We get Dani and we get Nicholas. But we're going to keep with Dani for the minute, because there are so many different facets to her character that it is never a dull moment when we're inside her head. And there is quite a mystery over her background because she has quite a selective memory. She can't remember where she came from. And we start to get little flashes, but she can't really make sense of them. And she doesn't know if she was born a demon or whether she was in the human world and made into what she is now, like a weapon. She doesn't know, and she doesn't know why Lilith takes on so much of an interest into her. I like being inside Dani's point of view. It's interesting, it's quite snappy, she's got great banter, she is comfortable in her sexuality, so anything's on the table for her, she enjoys everything. And now we get on to our other point of view, which of course is Nicholas. He is our main male lead, and he's an angel with a face to die for. And he is a sentry in Heaven's Gate, which is just below the layer of where heaven is. And this is, it's kind of like a sentry sort of tower block, but there's like angel executives in it, and they basically run the show, and it's how souls get to heaven. The sentry angels go down, collect the souls, and journey with them up to heaven if they are deserving or not. Nick is very secure in this role. He is secure in his place in the world. He believes in the cause. He believes in heaven. He trusts implicitly those that are around him and those that are above him. As naive as that could, but they're angels, so what do you expect? And he and his friend are forced to work together with Dani and another friend. I can't remember her name because it's been a while since I've read this. It took ages to write the review for this because I got myself in a slump and then I'll get to it. But all four of them have to work together, and there is some great banter. But of course, there are difficulties with two demons from Purgatory and two angels from Heaven's Gate having to work together when there's been wars between the factions, and now an angel has turned up dead. And the reason that Danny and the other demon are helping is because something is implied that it ties it to Purgatory, but it's only implied, and it could be a red herring. So that's why they're all involved. And Nick having to work with Danny and I can't remember, Elise, that's it, Elise. I didn't even have to open it then. Danny and Elise, is it starts to shake the foundations of everything he believes in, because Nick doesn't question. They're angels. Of course they're good. Everything they do is good. Whereas Danny and Elise are more of the world, and they're a lot more suspicious, and their suspicions start undermining his belief system. And some of their suspicions do have evidence behind them that points to that conclusion. And that's even before Nick even begins to acknowledge his growing attraction to Danny. Now, I said it took me over a month to finish this, and that is because it put me in a reading slump, because it is a slog to get through. And it's not even because it's like over 500 pages. That is not the problem. I have read bigger books in shorter timescales. It's the writing, because book-wise it treats the reader like we don't remember a thing from chapter to chapter. And it does that by constantly repeating the events of the previous chapter. Like, we can't remember what has just happened. We can, and it happens nearly every chapter in this. Recap of what has gone before. It's not a TV series. I know what's happened before because I read it 2 minutes ago. I can keep things in my head for a little bit longer than that. That's why it was such a slog to read through, because a third of this book, a third of this 500 pages, could have been cut and should have been cut in editing, because it is constantly repeating, constantly, over and over and over again. It only stops doing that at the end, because events move at a very quick pace. But most of this beginning, I don't need a repeat of what has already gone. I can remember it. Go me. And another thing that was throwing me out while reading it, because when I read a book, I don't know how anybody else reads, but when I read a book, I see it playing in my head. It kept throwing me out of that loop because of how this is written. And you'll see that I've got a little tab here, only the one, but it's to show you exactly what I mean. And what I mean is, it treats the reader like we are thick. Because not only does it repeat what has gone on in previous chapters, but there'll be like dialogue. And sometimes it'll say, oh, Nick said this, or Danny said this. And then sometimes there'll be a line of dialogue where there wouldn't be a name. But because the conversation is only between 2 or 3 people, and the wording in those sort of segments, you can guess which character said it. You don't need this every single time. Which is that. You can see on there. You really don't need this. So somebody will say something, and then it'll have their name in brackets. Just put that it was said by somebody. You don't need to, and that happens a lot. A lot. Like, we can't tell who says what, but we can, because we're not stupid. It annoyed me something awful, because you don't need to do that. Now, of course, in the blurb it said that this book is 18 plus, and it says that for a reason, because there is an instant attraction between Danny and Nick, of course there is, and of course this leads to multiple sessions, which is fine. They're nicely written, well, as nice as that can be, and it doesn't feel out of place. It feels very in place, to be honest. The only problem I have with it is I said this book dragged along, and part of that is whenever there is a sesh, the plot is completely forgotten about. Completely forgotten about. Like, in the aftermath and in the lead up to these sessions, it just gets completely just forgotten about, and it just gets completely forgotten about and seems like it really doesn't matter. When we're in here for the plot, it's dragged enough getting to this point. I just want to know who the hell is behind everything. To your heart's content after the mission. Because when these fuck sessions are happening, nothing moves forward except the whatever is thrusting forward. It doesn't help, and you don't get another POV. You are in it with these two, and that is it. Now, although it did take me over a month, I think it was a month and a half to finish this, to the detriment of all else. I had a very bad reading month in February, mainly because of this book. And yes, this is coming out in May because it has taken me so long to try to review it, because it's difficult, because I did like it. Except there's numerous things that I just... It was a bit dragged. It was a bit dull in places. But I enjoyed it. Especially near the end, did I enjoy it? It was a bit predictable. But you enjoy it. And it does give little tidbits for the sequel, which I didn't quite like, just because it's a trope that is so overused. It's basically a cliche. Now, what I did like about this book is the banter between Nick and Danny is off the charts. It is very, very good. It is very well written, and it is quite funny to read. So the predictions for the sequel, because I think this is going to be a trilogy, the predictions for the sequel is it's an overused trope, but it's pregnancy. I think there's going to be a pregnancy in the next one. If I'm wrong, I will cheer, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. But hopefully in the next one there's going to be an all-out war. And if it takes me so long to finish the next one, I'm just going to stop with the series, because it's not that they're bad, it's just that they're a little bit dull. So if you like this, if you've read this book, please let me know down in the comments below. And as always, keep reading.